So over the past week or so, we've been getting more and more reports of the American people potentially having to pay more because we are seeing our benefits get reduced. We're seeing cuts. Well, it's happening again. What just happened starting today? President Biden, he signed an executive order last week, and this is going to cut into Americans' benefits. I want to address what's going on here, why this is potentially going to impact you, and how this is going to affect all of us moving forward. All I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So one of the main questions that I've been receiving over the past month is, how are we connected to this war between Russia and Ukraine? How are we connected with this war between Israel and Hamas? What are we doing to really make Iran upset? And why is China increasing tensions at this time? Now, those are the majority of the questions I get. Then lately, obviously because I've been doing more videos on the border security crisis, I've been getting a lot of questions there. But there's something that's coming up in less than 3 weeks that is going to play a major role in us moving forward. And that is the government spending bill, the government funding bill, which as of right now, we do not have any indication of Republicans and Democrats coming together and extending the bill or putting in a new fiscal 2024 budget. Now, why does that matter? Well, it matters because of this. Look at this. It says big pay raise means big trade-offs under spending stalemate. It says agencies could struggle to absorb cost of workers 5.2% hike. Guess what President Biden did? President Biden signed an executive order last week that is going to give federal workers a 5.2% pay raise. Okay. Now I'm not here to say that workers shouldn't get an increase in pay. But what I'm here to tell you is what is potentially coming. What we could see moving forward is agencies could struggle to increase pay at a tune of 5.2% because they are not getting an increase to their budget. Their budget is operating on a continuing resolution, which means the budget that they got last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was, that's the same budget they have to operate on this year, even though we've seen so much inflation. Again, this is a problem because now they're saying the American people are going to pay. Either these agencies are going to shut down, these agencies will have to lay off employees in order to account for the additional 5.2% increase in pay. These agencies may have to eliminate certain programs in order to accommodate for this increase. But again, this is something that we knew was coming. So in the end, the American people could pay. We could see us lose benefits. We could see parks shut down. We could see police forces be reduced. All these things could happen because now our federal budget, which is set here, this is the ceiling, now we're trying to stuff more things in it. For instance, what about funding for Ukraine? Well, look at this. Russian President Vladimir Putin, he says Russia will intensify attacks on Ukraine. That was this morning. That was this morning on January 1st, 2024. He says that they are going to intensify attacks. Here, let's just read it right here. This is during a visit to a hospital. It says, we're going to intensify the strikes. No crime against civilians will rest unpunished. That's for certain. Because what happened is Russia attacked Ukraine by hitting them with over 100 missiles. We saw more than 30 people lose their lives. We saw more than 150 people in critical condition. And then Russia saw a response. Russia was attacked by Ukraine. However, Russia said this was more like a terrorist attack. And now Russia vows to continue to attack. They say, We are doing that today and tomorrow, and we will continue doing it. They're not going to stop. They will continue to hammer Ukraine, which means the United States is most likely going to have to step up and provide additional funding, or other countries will. Well, this is the problem. When Putin says what happened in Belgorod is a terrorist act, he's not going to stop. He's not going to be like, oh, well, it was a mistake. No harm, no foul. But there was harm. Okay? He says it was a foul. Now, here's where we go from here. As of right now, Congress is not coming back this week. We will see the Senate return next week, next Monday. We will see the House of Representatives. They will come back next Tuesday. This is important because as of right now, once they come back, and when they come back, it's going to be a week from today, which means it would be January 8th for the Senate, January 9th for the House of Representatives, which means they have less than 2 weeks to pass a government funding bill, or else risk the U.S. government shutting down. That will hurt many Americans as well. Now, we do have some good news today, but this good news doesn't go far. Here's what we know. As of this morning, Israel says they will be pulling thousands of troops from Gaza as the combat is focusing on Enclave's main southern city. So they're going south. We know that. But they're going to pull thousands and thousands of troops out of Gaza. That's good news. That's good news. And this was also seen as good news, is that the United States says the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier is returning home after extended deployment defending Israel. They were sent to the Mediterranean on October 7th. As soon as Israel was attacked, then we sent this aircraft carrier over to the Mediterranean. Well, what we now know is it's coming back. So this is a good sign that yes, Israel's pulling troops out. Tensions are going to somewhat subside. They're not going to go away. But the good news is that now there's more reports saying that Israel doesn't need any additional funding. Israel will be perfectly fine. What we may have to do is send some humanitarian aid to Gaza because of what just happened. Gaza has almost been leveled. This is going to turn into a humanitarian crisis. So instead of $14 billion to Israel, we may send a few billion to Gaza, which means we will save over $10 billion. That's good news because this $10 billion could go a long way, especially if President Biden is serious about these pay raises, which he is. And he's already signed this into law. So moving forward, we're going to see what happens. But if we can eliminate this threat and the tensions in the Middle East, and I don't mean eliminate countries, I'm talking about Israel and Hamas. They pretty much call a truce. All right, it's enough. We're done. That would be great. Because then we would stop seeing all these attacks on U.S. troops, on ships in the Red Sea. Because just today, or actually yesterday, the White House said it is seeking, it's not seeking wider conflict after the United States helicopters shot Houthi boats. And I think 10 people lost their lives. 3 boats were pretty much sunk. And so that is something that is good news, I guess, that, yeah, they're not seeking a wider conflict, but the conflict really isn't with the Houthis. The conflict is the United States is continuing to support Israel, which the Houthis say that is not something they want to see. The United States has no business supporting Israel. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is right now, President Biden is doing it time and time again. He is finding ways around Congress to pass additional raises, to send additional funding or equipment, to do a sale of military equipment, for instance, to Israel. Yeah, all this stuff's happening, and he's doing it without congressional approval. So some are now questioning, how far will President Biden go? Well, we're going to see. And as always, I will be here every step of the way. I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. All I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoyed today's update. And now, again, I just want to say this because today is the only day I can say it. Happy New Year. Hopefully you guys have an incredible 2024. But again, I will be here every step of the way. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.